Mark, I'm going to turn the floor over to you.
Okay, thank you. Well, again, my name is Mark Lay. I'm Territory Sales Manager. I am based in Minneapolis and very much appreciate everyone's time on the WebEx here today. So I will try my best. Rick, if you could help me in case any questions come up. Do want to leave enough time at the end of the WebEx so that if it's easier to ask questions rather than typing them out, want to make sure that we leave enough time for that. So
sure,
Rick
we'll do a moderated Q&A at the end. So they can just type the questions in the questions tab, and then I'll post them to you. So we'll just talk them out. Cool. Thanks, Mark.
Okay, that'll work. Yeah, thank you. That'll work much easier. So, excuse me. So again, welcome everyone. Thank you for your time this morning. And we'll keep the WebEx pretty focused, as Rick said. I want to do just a quick overview of the installation time-saving features that we continue to put it into the Sanus mounts in the Sanus mount line, and talk about some of the important changes and good changes that we saw to the 2020 Sanus mount line. So we'll talk about those updates. And then we'll, as Rick said, we'll do a deeper dive on the Sonos accessories, which is a very great category for growth. If you are not already selling any of those Sonos accessories, a lot of opportunity for growth there and some really great solutions for the current Sonos product that are out there. And then we'll do a Q&A. We'll spend plenty of time at the end for Q&A as well. So one of the things I just wanted to cover on the front end is at Sanus, we don't really look at a mount as a widget, and there are lots of options out there for mounting solutions, of course, but what I wanted to impress upon you is that at Sanus, our design engineers, our product managers, everybody that's involved with Sanus mounts, we still really want to focus heavily on you as the custom installer and on custom installers in terms of making mounts very easy, very innovative, and basically profitable to use. So when we look at our ongoing mount design, there are certain things we look at based on your feedback. You know, safety is our number one concern. So reminder that all of our Sanus mounts are UL approved, and they basically can hold 4 times their weight rating, but you know, safety is the most important concern to us. We want to provide you with product that you trust and that you know is going to basically be very safe to install. When we look at installation concerns, we've got a wide variety of factors that we look at based on who's doing the installation, what types of wall construction, and just different types of applications our mounts go into. Compatibility is a very big focus area too, and the reason for that is because when you look at TV sizes, TV weights, mounting hole patterns change quite often, and depending on the brand of TV that you currently, or TVs that you're selling, those vessel patterns can be challenging sometimes. And from an installation standpoint and a profitability standpoint, if there's any one thing that will absolutely kill your profitability in the field, it's if you don't have the right mounting hardware or the correct mounting hardware. So we very much try to eliminate false rolls. We don't want you rolling a van, or we don't want installers rolling a van to have to go to the hardware store or back to the shop. So when you look at the current Sanus mount line, we have pretty much the most robust hardware packaging in pretty much in the industry, and especially where that becomes important is with M8 bolts. So again, we really pay a lot of attention and a lot of focus to that. And then just the different room requirements. Obviously, we have different types of mounts based on whether the customer needs a low profile, tilting, swivel, extending, full motion mount, or a corner mount. So there's a lot of things we take into consideration when we design a mount. And the great news is that we still do that based on 100% installer feedback. So all of the innovation that we continue to put into our mounts is based on installer feedback, because we want your job to be as easy as possible. I get asked a lot when I'm in the field and when I'm in front of customers, whether it's a dealer or distributor, you know, what are you guys doing to keep up on your mount design? You know, TV trends are changing, and what we're seeing here with trends are, you know, TVs are becoming more stylish. You've got a lot more TVs that have a bezel-free design, very high-end finishes. They look sleek, they look simple. And they're just a lot different than the TV design from previous years. They're definitely thinner. As I mentioned, you've got several TV models that have off-center VESA patterns. TVs are obviously much more lighter, but they're also larger. So Those are the trends that we look at when we continue to design our mounts, not just the installation-friendly features, but paying attention to aesthetics as well. What I want to do here is cover what's very important for installers, right? Because time is money. And as a quick overview or reminder or new information to those of you that have little or no experience installing Sanus mounts, there's a number of key differentiators here that we have in terms of our product technology. Some of them are installer focused, others are end user focused, but one thing that's always been consistent and will continue to be in the Sanus mount line are these key differentiators. So the first is that our tilt works much different than most of the tilting mounts on the market. We have what we call a virtual axis centrist tilt. So all of our tilting is done based on center of gravity. And what that means for the end user is that they have the ability to fine tune the tilting on each of our mounts, but it's not necessarily to do that every time you tilt the TV. So once you have that dialed in based on the TV, center of gravity of the TV and how it fits on the mount, it's a very effortless thing for the end user to do, is just to literally walk up to the TV, and if they need to adjust the tilt angle, they can just basically take one finger or a couple fingers, and they can very easily, tool-free, adjust the tilting angle of the TV. The most important thing, and I know a biggest pain point for installers, and again, where you will lose a lot of time and profitability in your labor costs, is being able to height level and micro level adjust the TV to make it level, whether it's height wise or to make the TV look level. So we have continued to have our Pro Set feature in our flush and tilt mounts. So that basically makes or allows an installer to get perfect height position once they've installed the TV onto the wall, and to level it after they've mounted the TV and the wall plate to the wall. So again, you're always going to get perfect positioning. It's very easy, very simple to use. And again, that's a key pain point we hear from installers in terms of the amount of time it takes. It takes less time to do that with a Sanus mount. One area where I think we've really improved on over the years, and we'll get more into that when we talk about some of the newer products this year, is that we have a very innovative in-arm cable management system for our full motion mounts. So full motion mounts, of course, are high ticket item, and then users don't want to see cords and wires zip tied to the side of an arm. They just basically want to see no cables or minimal cables. So the Sanus full motion mounts that we have in the line can have very good cable management in terms of being able to just run the cables and wires directly right through the arm instead of having to zip tie them off to the side. And we have complete through arm cable management. So it really minimizes any cables or wiring that an end user will see. And, you know, at the end of the day, it makes it actually easier to sell the mount too, when you can tell the end user and explain to the end user that, hey, we can bury all your cables and wires right inside the mount. And then another safety feature, the quick connect. So anytime an installer takes the adapter brackets in the TV and engages them to either a flush or tilt or full motion arm or wall plate, they're always going to hear an audible click. So as TVs get bigger, sometimes it does take, in most cases, it does take two people to install, or two installers or techs to install a mount. They're always going to hear that audible click, and that audible click lets them know that the adapter brackets have engaged with the wall plate or the arm if it's a full motion mount. And then one of the products we'll talk about a little bit later is our advanced tilt wall mount. This is a home run. It's a product that if you haven't sold it yet or spec'd it, you absolutely should. You should get your hands on one and look at it. But it's basically a time-saving feature in terms of being able to get back behind the TV and service the TV. But it's basically our tilting mount that actually extends up to 5.7 inches to allow you to get back behind the TV a lot faster, a lot easier for servicing. So we'll go into more details about that. But again, that's a very innovative feature, and there's no other mount out on the market that has that capability right now at this time. And then I already talked a little bit about compatibility, but we do a lot internally with our databases and our product team to make sure that we provide the correct hardware and the right type of hardware so that we have the right screw sizes that are compatible with all of the brands of TVs out there. So again, if there's any one thing besides not being able to quickly and safely level or micro adjust your TV, it's that whole compatibility of having the right hardware and not making you do a truck roll or a van roll to go to the hardware store or back to the shop. So installers who are very successful with Sanus continue to appreciate that we have a very robust hardware package. So I want to talk about the 2020 Sanus product updates. A lot of changes to 2020, but good changes and hopefully changes that will make it easier for you to specify the right Sanus mount, to choose the right Sanus mount if you're a dealer, and certainly for our distribution partners, helping them in terms of having a lean SKU mix. So if you look at the screen that I'm showing you right now, this is what the previous Sanus portfolio was for distribution partners and our dealers. So if you look at it, especially when you look at the large full motion mounts and you look at the tilting mounts, I had a lot of dealers and distributors that, you know, continuously would challenge us and say, hey, you guys got a lot of mount choices, that's great, but sometimes it can be confusing, kind of slows us down when we're trying to decide what the right mount should be. Is there a way you could make this easier for us? And, you know, does there really need to be so much redundancy in the line as it is right now? So based on that feedback over a number of years, we went and basically took the core mount portfolio from 24 SKUs, made some changes to get to where we're at today. So the screen that you're looking at right now, the slide that you're looking at right now, is basically what our basic distributor portfolio is for mounts. We went from a number of redundant SKUs and 24, 25 SKUs down to 15 core SKUs. And we were able to do that because we added a few new full motion mounts that you see here on the large and the medium. And we'll do a little bit deeper dive on those mounts and the features. And we just basically eliminated the redundancy that was in the line. Another way we were able to achieve this is if you look at the current mount portfolio versus the legacy mounts, like the VLF 525, LF 228, legacy SKUs that we will be discontinuing and that you should be transitioning to the new SKUs, you'll notice that we've increased the TV sizes, the compatibility sizes, and we've also increased the weight ratings. So as a dealer, the value here is that you don't have as much confusion in the line. You don't have quite as many choices as you did before. And certainly for our distribution partners, it gives them a leaner SKU mix to stock. And same thing, it helps them to recommend the correct mount back to you. So again, very exciting changes there. And for some of you, I know that if you were used to using the legacy SKUs and you got comfortable with those, we'll go over some of the newer features here, especially for the full motion mounts, where if you haven't had a chance to use these, you haven't bought these yet or installed them yet, a much better experience from an installer standpoint and an end user standpoint. So one of the things I did want to call out, though, if we could spend just a few minutes here, I still get asked to say, well, Mark, that's great that you did that, but you still have a lot of choices for your tilting mounts. I've got 4 choices here for the large tilting mounts. How do I decide what is the best mount and what is the biggest difference here? So the way to look at that, the way to position that, and the way to make that decision is, and again, we'll go into more detail here, but the VDLT16, that is a mount you should really be using if you haven't tried it yet. But this is the mount that basically extends 5.7 inches from the wall. You have a compatibility range, generally TVs 46 to 90 inches, 150 pounds. But if it's critical for you to save time to get back behind the TV, to service the TV, and not have to send 2 techs out to do a service call, that is basically the mount that you should go to. It's a mount that gives you the most flexibility for a tilting mount. We still sell a lot of the VMPL 50As. That's been in the line forever. It was basically the first Sanus mount. We will still continue to sell that, but the biggest difference between the VMPL50A and the VLT5 is you can see the compatibility range there. So the VMPL50A generally will only fit up to an 85-inch TV, whereas the VLT5 goes a little bit bigger with the VESA pattern, up to 90 inches. So generally, the larger the TV, the heavier the weight rating. That's where you're going to want to go with the VLT5. But if you're doing a 32-inch to 85-inch TV, up to 150 pounds, the VMPL50A, if you don't need the extension function that the VLT16 offers, the VMPL50A should be your go-to mount. And then if you need the mount extremely tight to the wall, and that's the customer's biggest concern and their biggest request, the VLT16 tilting mount will handle up to an 85-inch TV, but that's under an inch in terms of depth. So again, if you need it tight to the wall, VLT16 as a tilting mount is the mount that you should be recommending. So again, that's generally the way to position the difference between the 4 tilting mount options that you have in the large flat panel category. I did want to call out a couple of features here. So if we go back here to this screen, you can see that we introduced 3 new full motion mounts that are much different in terms of aesthetics, installation experience, and end user functionality than the core legacy mounts that you were buying before and that we were selling through our distribution partners. So we won't spend a lot of time on the VLF613. That is just basically a super slim full motion mount that will be about 1.4 inches off the wall. It sells well, but right now what we're selling the most of and what we see as the most popular mounts are the large VLF628 and the medium VMF620. So big differences here on these mounts in terms of the legacy mounts that they are replacing. So overall, if you look at this mount as compared to like the VLF525 or even the LF228, basically the most important thing, one of the most important things we did based on installer feedback is it basically sits tighter to the wall and closer to the wall. So this is only 3¼ inches off the wall, but comes out 28 inches. The previous legacy SKUs that we were selling and that were in the line sat much farther off the wall, and that was a common frustration from installers, where the customer requirement was to get the mount tighter. But you still have the same functionality and actually improved functionality. So you have a nice wide open wall plate. As you can see here, you still have a lot of lateral shift adjustment left and right for basically centering the TV where it needs to go. So the internal arm within the wall plate still has left and right lateral shift capability. As I said, you have 28 inches of arm extension. It does have the fingertip, the virtual access fingertip tilt. And then again, a very robust universal TV interface adapter bracket. And again, that's been redesigned and enhanced to fit larger patterns. A big difference too, again, that will be a time-saving feature based on installer feedback, is our old full motion mounts were good mounts, but the area that we really improved in significantly is the ability to lock the level in post-install. And that was a big deal, especially with heavier TVs that tended to have offset VESA patterns. So again, legacy mounts were good, but where we've made a big improvement and installers have definitely responded back positively is, hey, you guys did a much better job. Now once we try to lock the level lock in place, it works much better. We have decorative hardware covers so that you get a nice, sleek, clean, finished look. And we actually increased the landing pads area here. So when you take the TV in the universal adapter bracket and you attach it to the arm here, that open landing pad was redesigned so that it's much easier, much faster, much safer for the installer, and they'll be able to still hear that audible click, but again, just a time-saving feature based on installer feedback. And then, as I mentioned earlier here, we have an enhanced cable management system. So you've got a lot of space within the arm to run and hide your cables. And again, just a very nice wide open wall plate. So from an installation standpoint, installers that have now started installing this newer mount, feedback is much better. It's a much better installation experience. It's faster. It's actually, it's still safe, but a time saver in the field in terms of being able to get a large TV and a large full motion mount attached to the wall in a very profitable way. I would also argue too, based on my own experience selling Sanus for a long time and based on installer feedback, is we always pay so much attention to the installer and installer-friendly features, but of all the mounts that we have designed over the years, we've really improved the end-user functionality of this too, in terms of the ease of use, the way that the mount extends in and out, the way it swivels and tilts. So a much better experience for the end user as well. So again, that is the new VLF 628, which will hold up to a 90-inch TV up to 150 pounds. Still sell a lot, of course, in the medium full motion mount category. So when you're looking at your 40 to 50-inch TVs up to 75 pounds, this actually sits a little bit tighter to the wall. It's 3 inches off the wall, but still at a very much more reduced depth than the previous version of mounts that we were selling. And again, as you can see, it pretty much has all of the same feature sets that the VLF 628 has as well. So again, it's a very consistent experience from an installation standpoint. Another thing that I think is exciting is that for those of you that installed a lot of the extra large VMPL3 mounts back in the day, the VMPL3 mount is what a lot of installers look at as just kind of a go-to emergency mount. And it was always a mount that a lot of installers would just actually have in each installation van, just in case you get out to the site and something has changed or the requirements have changed and you just need a much larger mount than the mount that you're currently installing. So the VXT7 replaces the VMPL3. It will hold generally TVs 40 to 110 inches up to 300 pounds. But a couple of important things here. It's only 2.5 inches from the wall, but the biggest difference that this has, or a couple of big important features that the VXT7 has that the VMPL3 did not have, is this has what we call our ProSet Plus post-install adjustment. So biggest frustration I have always heard from installers is, Mark, we love the VMPL3. We install a lot of them. It's a great mount, but there is no post-installation height adjustment, and that's tough. So we not only put ProSet post-installation height adjustment into the new VXT7, we actually gave it a full inch of height adjustment and level adjustment. So that's, I think, a pretty big deal, and a lot of installers have been happy about that. Another thing that we did is we actually increased the wall plate slots. So now you have a lot more flexibility when you're mounting the wall plate to the stud bay. The redesign of that, again, based on installer feedback. So again, at the end of the day, that's going to save you time in terms of trying to line up the mount on the wall plate on the stud bay, giving you a lot more flexibility during the installation. We also added these quick release tabs. Quick release tabs are pretty cool because they're very easy to get to from underneath the TV. If you need to connect them and reconnect the TV, take the TV off the wall plate, but they're also just a reinforced plastic, and they slide back up nicely right up into the mount. So unlike the previous generation of mounts where you had a little string that hung down and you had to use that, the string would break. There was no way to really hide the string back behind the adapter bracket. That's a pretty cool feature that we have now put onto the new VXT7. And then another important thing, and especially I want you to think about this if you are working with commercial or light commercial applications, this is really one of the only mounts that we have that's actually padlock ready for TV securement. So traditional Sanus core mounts don't have that padlock ready feature. So Again, Sanus does get installed into a lot of light commercial applications, but the new VXT7 makes that a lot easier in terms of your options there. And again, very nice high wall plate here. You got 5.5 inches of space to work with here. So compared to the VMPL3, much more effective product for you. So I want to spend a little bit of time here on what we're seeing now as basically a home run. If you have not had a chance to use the new advanced tilt mount, the VDLT16, I would highly encourage you to get your hands on one and take it for a test spin. So as I said, we still sell the VMPL50A. A lot of installers like it. And over the years, we've actually tried to discontinue the VMPL50A, and installers said, no, you can't do that. It's the best mount. It's the greatest ever. Well, a lot of those installers now have actually moved over to the VDLT16. So again, there's just no other mount on the market that gives you this much flexibility, will save you this much time. So basically, the draw here on the VDLT16 and why it's a home run is because it's the only tilt mount on the market that tilts, but it also comes 5.7 inches and extends 5.7 inches off the wall. So not only are you going to get easy cabling access and maximum tilt, it's just a lot easier to get back behind the TV to service it. And you know, installers, you guys are still putting, and installers are still putting a lot of back boxes into the wall. You're burying stuff in the back box. But, you know, think about all the installs you do where you're putting small components directly to the back of the TV. And a lot of times it's hard to get back behind there to do that. It's very time consuming. And even more of a challenge is what happens if something goes wrong back there and you have to go out and service it. So the big draw here is that if you want to get back behind the TV to service it, put all your components and small components back there directly to the back of the TV, this flat out is the best mount in the Sanus line to be able to do that. So you can see here again that it comes out 5.7 inches from the wall and will hold up to a 46 to 90 inch TV up to 150 pounds. It sits 2.74 inches from the wall, so it's still fairly low profile. It does have the ProSet Plus, so you get the full inch of height and level adjustment. Virtual access tilt, of course, the fingertip tilt. Again, the enhanced hardware package, especially with the M8 bolts. M8 bolts is where you're going to run into the most issues if you don't have the right hardware. Nice, high, wide open wall plate, 5.5 inches high. The VDLT16 also comes equipped with a secured padlock option. We don't provide the padlock, but you can secure the TV with a padlock. So again, when you're thinking light commercial applications where security is an issue, it's definitely an important draw on the VDLT16. Again, we have the quick release tabs so that you can easily get access to the TV when you need to stow it, when it's not in use. And then again, we increase the wall plate slots even more so than what you see on the VMPL50A, the VLT5. So you get a lot more flexibility during the installation. So I have had so many installers come up to me and say, Mark, you don't know how much time we're saving on installs. Now we can get back behind the TV a lot easier when we install it, when we put stuff on the back of the TV. And if we do have to do a truck roll, I only need to send one tech out there now. I don't need to send two guys. I can send one tech out, do the service call, pulls the TV away from the wall, and can take care of it pretty quickly. I've even had a lot of installers that come up to me and say, hey, Mark, I don't even have to roll a tech out anymore now because depending on the situation or what's going on, end user calls, said, hey, something's not working back. I think something came loose back behind the TV. Had installers that have been able to walk the end user over the phone, pull the TV away from the wall. They figure out what's wrong, what needs to be reconnected, and problem solved. They don't even need to roll a truck to do that. So again, this is really the mount unit volume wise that is moving the most here in the tilt line. So highly encourage you to try this out if you haven't had a chance to yet. Your installers will be very, very happy. And then another thing that sometimes one of those little devices we tend to forget about. So like I said, you guys are putting a lot more stuff, and dealers are putting a lot more stuff directly to the back of the TV. Still talk to a lot of installers that use double-sided tape, Velcro, and TV gets hot, components get hot. There's just a lot of heat generated on the back of that TV. Tape comes unglued, Velcro falls off. So just as a reminder, we have a streaming device panel, the SASP1. This should be an attachment sale with every flush tilt or full motion mount you sell. It's just a simple little streaming device panel that comes with 2 Velcro straps, and the Velcro straps are notched and slotted so that you can attach them either horizontally or vertically to the streaming device panel. And again, works with any Sanus flush tilt full motion mount, and it fits most of your streaming cable, one connect, and smaller devices. Can fit directly to the back of the TV on the VESA patterns, or most commonly it's just wedged with the hardware that we provide. It's just wedged between the adapter bracket and the TV. So again, a great way to manage all of that stuff that's attached directly to the back of the TV or behind the TV as opposed to a wall plate. So again, that's something that you should always be thinking about when you're purchasing a Sanus mount. So I want to remind you here that Sanus is more than just mounts. We still sell speaker stands. That's actually how Sanus got its start way back when, but we are still in the speaker stand business. So again, we've got pretty basic choices here, but if you're looking to position this as good, better, best, we still have a very robust line of speaker accessories when you need that. So for just basic series, our BF basic series, that's good. We continue to have energy absorbing MDF construction, non-slip surface, very good cable management, and comes with push-in spikes as well. If you want to upgrade the natural series a little bit better, that has carpet spikes or feet that are adjustable. We use brass isolation studs or neoprene pads can be used as well. But again, energy absorbing MDF construction, good cable management, and it has a solid hardwood pillar. The steel series is kind of what we consider top of the line. So again, adjustable carpet spikes, rubber feet, brass isolation studs, very good cable management. Steel series has a heavy duty steel base. So again, when you're looking at speaker mounts, make sure that you remember that Sanus is still in the speaker mount business. And then as much as we'd like to wall mount all of our TVs, you still have a lot of customers that want their TV to be put on a piece of furniture. They either can't or don't want their TV wall mounted. So we have a couple options here for a Swiveling TV Base. Where this also is great is when you're dealing with a customer who's relocating or moving. A lot of times I hear from dealers, hey Mark, talk to this customer. We're not going to wall mount the TV, but they lost the base or the feet that came with the TV. What have you got for me? So the entry-level model that we have here is our VSTV1. This is just a great piece. Comes in at a very competitive price point, but basically it's just a swivel TV stand that can be put on a piece of furniture. Will generally hold TVs from 32 to 60 inches, up to 60 pounds. It swivels left and right 37 degrees. Very easy to assemble. I've assembled this in just under about 8 minutes. It's very easy to put together. And what's nice about it too, though, is you can adjust the TV up to 4.7 inches, so you get that perfect positioning. And especially if you're going to put a sound bar underneath there or attach the sound bar to the TV, or if you have a sound base or other components under the TV, it gives you a lot of flexibility, a lot of room underneath. But that is your problem solver for a customer that cannot or does not want their TV wall mounted and they want to put it on a piece of furniture, or they've lost the base or the feet that came with their original TV. And then we have another option here which will lead into our Sonos accessory discussion. So the Swiveling TV Base here, the WSTV1, is actually considered part of our Sonos accessory line. Again, this is a great piece. I have one of these I've had one of these on my piece of furniture for a number of years now, and it's just an excellent TV swivel base. So This is different than the BSTV one in a couple of ways. Still has the same weight rating of up to 60 pounds, will fit TVs 32 to 60 inches. Swivels a little bit less, 20 inches left or right, but the key draw here is that you have actually up to 8 inches of total height adjustment. So what's nice about this is that the way the universal adapter bracket is slotted, it's a little hard to see, but there is a hook on the back of the TV stand that you basically hook the universal adapter bracket to here. So with the slotting, you can actually adjust the TV up to 8 inches. And again, that will easily allow you to accommodate sound bars, sound bases, other components. And what's really neat is if you look in the picture on the left-hand side, we actually have the Sonos play base underneath there. It gives the illusion that the TV is just hovering over the play base or over any other component you have under there. You don't see the back of the TV stand. It literally just looks like the TV is hovering over there. So again, from a design standpoint, very slick, very effective. And again, this is an easy 1, 2, 3 step assembly. We say you can complete it in 20 minutes. I think I put mine together in about 10 minutes. And what's nice too here is that it is UL approved for tip factor, tip safety. It's a very stable footprint. It's actually a very heavy stand. So regardless of whether you just have a TV on there or you put anything on the base here, picture's a little deceiving. That is a very robust base. Again, we provide an enhanced hardware package so that it's compatible with all major brands of TVs. I really like the cable management on this. I've got a lot of stuff going on behind my TV in terms of cables, and before we came out with this TV base, it was just a mess back there. So the cable management system we have on here works really great, does a really great job of completely concealing and hiding all of the stuff that's back behind your TV. So what I want to spend the last amount of the time that we have remaining here in is I want to go over all of the solutions that we have for Sonos. So when we first started working on this, we only had a couple of solutions. We really only had a few things in the line that we could offer to support the Sonos product that are out there. So what I'm excited about, and I hope what you're excited about too, is if you sell Sonos, is recognizing that we actually have a full family now of accessory solutions for Sonos. So again, a lot of Sonos going into custom installs. We have very good solutions here now in terms of having a whole family of options to support that. So again, if you have not had a chance to look at any of these, if you have not had a chance to spec any of these in, please consider Sanus here, because we work very closely with Sonos in terms of our design. So aesthetically and from a functionality standpoint, all of our accessories here are designed to work extremely well with the appropriate Sonos product. So probably the most popular Sonos accessory is the soundbar mount that we have for the Sonos Beam. Again, installers just love this. It's a very, very well designed product. And this WSS-BM1 is actually designed specifically for the Sonos Beam. So it will not work with any other soundbar, but it is specific to the Sonos Beam. So what's great about this is it works with most mounted TVs. It will work with any Sanus flush tilt full motion mount. But what's really great about this is you just attach this crossways to the universal adapter bracket. And then we have a smart latch system. And what you basically get is 12 inches of height adjustment with the lift of a finger. So once that's attached to the universal adapter bracket, once you have the Sonos Beam mounted to this, it's just very easy for you to get that 12 inches of height adjustment. So you can snug the Sonos Beam right up to the bottom of the bezel of the TV. And it makes for a very easy installation experience and a very clean look. And what's nice about this is because it attaches to the universal adapter bracket, basically it works with any full motion mount. So you don't have to obviously attach the beam to the wall. And what's great about this is with the full motion mount, you've got the sound moving with the TV as well. And again, it works with most mounted TVs, 37 to 70 inches, but in the Sonos accessory line, this is probably unit volume wise, the one that we sell the most of, and as a soundbar mount for the Beam, it just absolutely works phenomenal. So you get a lot of compliments on that from installers. So when it comes to the stands, we have a couple different options here for you for speaker stands for the Sonos One, the Play One, and the Play 3. Now, here's the good news. You know that the Sonos One, the Play One, and the Play 3 all have different ways that you attach or different attachment points. So the Sonos One has the port, the Play One and the Play 3 have the recessed holes. So the good news is if you buy a fixed height speaker stand, either the WSS21, which is just a single in black or white, or the pair, the 22 in black or white, regardless, it doesn't matter if you're using a Sonos One, Play One, or Play 3 with that, because every one of those that you buy, every speaker stand that you buy, automatically comes with the appropriate adapter bracket and hardware that will be compatible for the Sonos One, Play One, and Play 3. So that's the good news. It makes it a lot easier, a lot simpler for you. So the fixed height speaker stand is pretty straightforward. It's got a nice aesthetic base here on the bottom, and very good cable management on the back side and through the bottom, so you can basically hide the power cord. And then just basically 34 inches high. It's got a width of 13 inches and a depth of 10 inches. And as I said, we created a new adapter plate that was designed specifically for the Sonos One. That comes with each of these stands, along with the adapter bracket for the Play One and the Play 3. So all of those brackets are included. So you never have to worry, regardless of which Sonos product you're using. You're going to get compatibility for all of those. So again, gives you a lot of flexibility here. More recently, what we designed, though, is we got a lot of feedback from installers that said, hey, it would be nice if you could make a height adjustable speaker stand. So if you are looking for a height adjustable speaker stand in single black or white, that would be the WSSA1. In pairs, that would be the WSSA2. So what's great about this is that at the highest extension, 34 inches high, 13 inches wide, 10 inches deep, but you've got tool-free height adjustment. There's a little trigger handle on the very back of the stand here where the cable management port is, but you just pull that trigger and that trigger will allow you to get 26 inches up to 40, actually up to a total of 42 inches height level. So that height of 34 inches is a little misleading, but basically you can get 16 inches of tool-free height adjustment there. So again, depending on your application, your room setup, that gives you a lot more flexibility. And same thing with the non-height adjustable speaker stands. We provide the adapter brackets for the Sonos One, the Play One, and the Play 3 all in the same package. So again, these are really sleek looking. And you can see that the bracket also allows you different options here for whether you want to attach these vertically or horizontally. And then more recently, we came out with a speaker stand for the Sonos Play 5. So that is the WSS51, either in black or white. So again, that was designed specifically for the Play 5. So it's sold actually in singles, and you can get them in black or white. But again, nice height specs here, 31.5 inches high, 11 inches deep, 10.9 inches wide. So those are your basic options, excuse me, for speaker stands, either adjustable or non-height adjustable. And then we also have a wall mount, speaker wall mount, again, for the Sonos One, the Play One, or the Play 3. And that is the WM21 is a single, 22 is a pair. And again, they come in black or white. So important thing here is that because the Sonos One does not have threaded recesses anywhere on the speaker, we had to come up with a kind of an innovative way to basically be able to attach the Sonos one to the adapter bracket itself or to the wall bracket. So we have this, what we call Invisigrip technology. And basically, if you can think of the way a mason jar works, how you open and close a mason jar, this Invisigrip technology basically has a clasp with a ring that goes on the top and the bottom, and you don't really see the ring, but you basically take the clasp, you attach it to the top and the bottom, and that allows you to physically attach then that ring and this section here to the wall plate. So basically, it's all tool-free. You get tool-free tilt and swivel, swivel up to 130 degrees, 132 degrees, but you can tilt down 30 degrees. So again, if you have the Play 1 and the Play 3, we include the adapter brackets for that. If you have a Sonos one, you get this Invisigrip type system that comes included in the package as well. And again, this is pretty easy. It's a 15-minute assembly to attach the speaker to the wall plate to the wall, and you can basically mount it anywhere. That's the nice thing about this is you can, regardless of whether you're going into wood, concrete, or drywall, it's basically a 15-minute install. So it's one of the few Sanus products that we actually say can go into drywall. So if you're looking for an on-wall speaker solution, the WS-WM 2-1 single or 2-2 in pair, we definitely sell a lot of those. It's a very popular product. And again, I think the important thing is you don't need to worry about adapter brackets because we provide all the adapter brackets for you for the Sonos one, the Play 1, and the Play 3. So the Sonos amp, we've got a unique little solution here. Again, that installers like, they say it's a great problem solver, very handy. And that is our WSS-CAM1. You can basically use this as a very low profile, slim wall mount for the Sonos amp. So you can install it on any wall or cabinet, very easy to install. All of the mounting hardware to mount this is included. What's nice is that it has a lockable latch. So once you get the Sonos amp in there, you can use the lockable latch to secure that tightly into place. And it's very easy to secure. But if you also need to do the disconnect, quick reconnect, that's also very easy to do as well. And then what's also nice, and again, thinking about the installers and keeping them in mind, these slots here, we've got slots that allow this to be adjusted for fine tuning, and you can fine tune your placement during the installation. So if it's going to be visible and the customer is finicky, we've actually got some fine tuning built into there. And then we've got some foam slots here, or a foam slot glide. So that will, or guide, excuse me, that will secure your cables in place to protect the amp ports. This is actually detachable too. It's a little bit hard to see, but that can actually be detached. But again, there's a great, easy, simple way to protect the amp ports here and use those by using those foam slots and that guide to secure the cables in place. And as I said, it's pretty flexible installation. You can mount this to any surface, including cabinetry. I've talked to a lot of installers and a lot of integrators that actually like to place this vertically or upside down, hide it and conceal it inside of a cabinet. So again, it's a very, very flexible in terms of the installation itself. So that is basically what I wanted to share with you today in terms of what's new with Sanus, a reminder of the installation, time-saving installation features, and then again, taking a deeper dive into the full line of Sonos accessories that we have for Sanus. So with that said, I wanted to make sure that there was enough time here for Q&A, and appreciate your support and your continued support of Sanus, and I'm welcome to answer any questions that you might have.
All right. Mark, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, so the number one question that we had was someone asked if we could get a copy of the presentation, or specifically the Sonos sections, as well as a price list. So I can help on the price list side.
Yeah. Yep. And I can send you, Rick, I can send you a copy of the presentation.
Perfect. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then the next question that came up, so the other product that exists specifically for Sonos, and I'm just going to say it's the Flexon, which we also carry. Their beam mount also works on the play bar. Does your beam mount also work on the play bar, or are they still two separate SKUs in the Sanus line?
They are still two separate SKUs, and I apologize that I didn't include that in there. That's a very good point, whoever asked that. So if we go back here to the WSS BM1, that is specific to the Sonos Beam, but your other option there for the others is for a soundbar mount is you can use the existing Sanus SA405.
Okay.
For the Sonos product, the existing Sanus SA405 is compatible, and yeah, I get that. Unfortunately, that's the second part you have to worry about, but that is the option. Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. All right.
Yeah.
We have some more questions here. I'm trying to format my window so I can read them.
No worries.
Go to webinar. It's a little unusual. Let me see. So, well, Robert, I hope that answers your question as well, because Robert asked a question about the beam mount.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So it's you'd have to use the other part that Mark just discussed.
Yeah,
right.
You would have to use the SA405. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So Tom asked, is the ProSet Plus post-installation adjustable able to move each side up an inch? What's the maximum range of the post-install?
Yeah, and you know what, and again, good question, and I'm sorry that I went over that pretty fast. So you get a total of 1 inch for the ProSet. It's a half an inch up and a half an inch down. And I think it's a half an inch up, a half an inch down. And where that's important too is on the Sanus core line of product, our post-installation height adjustment is it's about a half an inch total. Now, I think where that's important too is that just to call out that you do have adjustment up and down on the ProSet Plus, half an inch up, half an inch down. Whereas if you look at other manufacturers out there, when you're doing your post-installation height adjustment, you're usually only getting height leveling and micro adjusting in the up position. You don't get that in the down position.
Yeah, this is Tom in our office, so I'm just going to call him out right now. Tom, you got to pull out your nut driver and you got to move your arms down on that television, because you're not going to be able to do it with the screwdriver, sir. You got to pull out the nut driver and get some real tools. All right.
Well, it's funny
Let us
too,
know if you need a hand, Tommy.
Well, you know, when we came out, it's funny too, because I talk to installers and they say, you know, I tell them, hey, you get a full inch of ProSet Plus now, and they just laugh. They say, oh man, if we're off that bad, then we shouldn't be installing a TV. But again, then you talk them through it and they say, oh yeah, I guess if the customer is going to be that finicky. So again, I can't credit the Sanus product team and our design engineering team enough, because over the years, I've been selling Sanus a long time, and they really do a good job of listening to the installers out in the field and just trying to come up with the most, solving all the pain points. So an inch might seem like overkill, but the important thing is it's a half an inch up, half an inch down.
Well, I was on the phone last week with a dealer. I was down in Dallas opening up the electronic lane branches under the new AllNet software and the new AllNet kind of management style. Well, anyway, I was on the phone with one of my dealers back home here, and he was telling me that he had a articulating arm, and he had to mount an 85 in a niche, and he had a perfect, like 3/4 of an inch or 1 inch reveal all the way around the panel. And he said the homeowner was home when he was mounting it, and because the TV was so large and bulky, the homeowner was actually assisting, and it was him and his guy, and then the homeowner, and he's like, they had to put it up and take it down like 3 times in order to get it perfect. So he said the homeowner looked at him and said, is this how complicated it is to mount a TV every time? And he looked at me and he said, no. And that'll be reflected in your bill.
Well, exactly. Yeah, exactly. No, I've had similar experiences helping family members hang a TV. I have a sister-in-law who is very finicky, and my brother-in-law is he's not a professional installer, but he's got some skills, and he just installed a VDLT16 a month ago in the
Nice.
they bought an old house. Wall was not plumb, it was not flush, and he didn't go with the VDLT16 originally. And I said, well, Bob, I'm telling you, you're going to call me. You're going to pick up the phone and call me.
Yeah.
Well, sure enough, a couple of weeks later, he said, hey, guess what, Mark? Send me that VDLT16. And then I went over and I watched him install it because he said he could do it. And he said, oh, night and day difference, complete difference.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So again, I know there are a lot of choices out there for mounts, and a lot of installers kind of look at a mount as just a mount or it's good enough. But on the Sanus side, we're again, a lot of good mounts out there, but I think where Sanus has really excelled at with our design is just trying to minimize the pain points, and at the end of the day, making your installation experience profitable. We don't want to be eating into your labor costs.
Sure. And the products that we get from you, the Sanus and then also the Chief, more on the pro and commercial side, are it's one of those scenarios where you kind of get what you pay for. And you know what? We've got less expensive product, and there also is less expensive competitive product. But like you were saying in the presentation, the smoothness in the tilt and the smoothness in the articulating on the Sanus product and also in the Chief product, and then the strength and the kind of the broad application of product on the Chief side, it helps you fine tune. It helps you get that right thing for the job to get the job done. And someone that's buying a TV like 15 years ago when our TVs cost $15,000, it was really easy to sell a $500 or $1,000 mount. Now it's more challenging, but
it is.
You know what though? The at the end of the day, the person wants a professional result in their house. They want it to look nice and operate smoothly. And there's room out there for the premium product. So that's why we're happy to be aligned with Sanus, and we're moving some boxes. So.
Yeah,
all right.
And you guys are, and we definitely appreciate that relationship too, as well, and the support. And definitely, as a salesperson, I definitely get it because I have that conversation every day. The delta between the cost of the TV and a mount. So again, there are other good mounts out there on the market, but my job is to point out the feature sets that both Sanus and Chief have. And again, it's at the end of the day, if an installer really pays attention to how profitable they are coming out of the field and out of a project, especially in terms of labor and labor costs, it's just a different experience. And that's what we want to focus on, is just addressing those pain points and making that that the installing a TV shouldn't be the most complicated thing or the hardest thing that you're doing on a project, and it should be something that should be a smooth experience. And then one other thing real quickly so we can wrap up on time is
we've got some questions. We're gonna keep going for a little bit.
Okay, we'll keep going. Let's keep going. Okay.
All right, perfect. All right, so Jeremy's asking, this is something that you and I talked about on our conversation off before the recording. Will Sanus have a drop-down style mount like the mantle mount in the future?
Likely not. It's something that we have looked at, and I know it's a question I get asked all the time. It's an application I get asked all the time. But in terms of the feedback that we've received, the market research that we've done, even though we get requests for it, the volume just isn't there to support it. And Mantle Mount does a great job at that. So where we like to look at, or where we're looking at, is looking at spending money on R&D and capital expenditures and stuff like that. Where we put our money is into things like the Sonos solutions. We never had those solutions before, and we invested a lot of money in coming up with a pretty robust line. And when we look at down the future, you guys see how TVs are changing, right? All the stuff I went through on the beginning of the slide, and who knows, a year, 2, 3, 5 years from now, what the back of the TV is going to look like. So, I'm not saying it will happen, but it might force manufacturers to radically redesign how we design TV mounts, right? Based on what's going to happen with the backs of TVs as TV design continues to evolve. So, yeah, so basically, I don't see that on the roadmap in the future here in terms of coming up with a solution like that. But it's a good question.
And I'll offer this, since Mark already said that this is not a product that Sanus is going to have in the roadmap. If you're looking for that, call your local branch, because we also distribute that product. So we can help you with that, even though it's not going to be a Sanus sale. All right, next question. David asks, how do you handle the power cord management for the Play One wall brackets and Sonos One wall brackets? Where does it plug into power? Okay, so and does it come with a smaller power cord, like the little power pigtail?
It doesn't, unfortunately, no. Okay. So that's kind of where our marketing pictures are a little misleading. I'll grant you that, but yeah, there really isn't. It really isn't built into that for the wall mount.
Okay, and again, we do carry the other product that has this, so we do have those short power cables available through our other partner, David. So let us know if we can help you with that. All right, the next question that pops up, can the VSTS1 or the WSTV1 table stands, are you aware, VESA pattern or weight, are they compatible with the LG 65-inch OLEDs?
Good question. I do not know, but I will check on that. Okay. Because generally, when we give size ranges on any of our product, that's just a suggested size range. So the two things we always look at is, are the VESA or the hole patterns on the TV compatible with the size of our adapter brackets? And then number two, is it within the weight capacity? So I don't know how much I don't know how much the LG 65-inch OLED weighs. So from a weight standpoint,
I'm going to give you another question, and while you're doing that, I'm going to pull up my Google box, and I'm going to look that up.
Yeah.
So let's table that question until after this one.
Yeah.
So take your time with this one, because it might take me a moment. Do the speaker stands have an adjustable speaker plate, meaning that you can change the plate where the speaker rests? For an example, a larger plate for a center channel. The other option is, do people still use two stands for a center channel?
Yeah, they do. Now, that's where we've pared down the line a little bit. We used to have that type of solution on the speaker stand, for the speaker stand, the basic speaker stand solution, but we took that out of the line a couple of years ago. So that is not available. But we don't have a separate adapter bracket that it would allow you to do that.
Keep answering the question. I've got some more searching to do.
Yeah, no.
All right. VESA pattern on the VESA pattern is 300 by 200. Okay. And now I'm looking for weight. And by the way, I'm getting all this from the LG site. So.
Okay. Thank you.
Accuracy is reliant on their own website.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, I should have gone to like Crutchfield or Apt. Whenever I look for TV specifications, I always go to Apt website, because they have like a really easy to read website. Plus, I used to work there, and I like those guys. I trust their information.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, long time ago. Let me see. Oh, here we go. Wait. 55.6 pounds without stand.
Yeah. So right off the bat there, just to be safe and to cover our bases, it would not be recommended that you use 65-inch LG OLED with that. And again, I know we make a big deal about UL approval and compatibility in that, but if something were to happen to the stand or the TV and you called into tech support and said, well, I got what TV have you got on it? And especially if something happened, that's where tech support would say, sorry, I can't help you. And it likely would void the warranty on the TV.
Do those table stands come with like the webbing strap to kind of strap the TV down so that it can't tip out?
They do not, but that, it's a good reminder to put on here because we forget about these, but they don't, but that would be good to use, and I'm going to pull it up here. I don't know if you can still see my screen, the ELM 701. anti-tip strap. Can you still see my screen? I don't know if you can see the web page.
Sorry, I don't know why, but I muted myself. Yeah, you're still presenting. Your screen is still live.
Yeah. So, and again, just in the interest of time, I wanted to just, I should have included this as well, but the ELM 701 would be what you'd want to use the anti-tip strap. So
yeah, that was exactly what I was thinking of.
Yeah, yep, the anti-tip strap. So.
Okay. All right. Are there any other questions from the audience? I think we did a great job of going through the questions. Even Tom's question about 1 inch of travel on a post install. I'm going to give him grief about that in the meeting.
Yeah, no, great questions. Great questions.
All right. Yeah, we have a good audience. All right. Mr. Lee pops back and he said that the panel he's talking about is 45, so maybe it's not the same series as the one I was looking at. I might have looked at the flagship. 45 is still kind of over the threshold. What is the threshold for the weight capacity of that table stand?
60 pounds.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
you're right at right at the limit. Yeah, I would say, I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, it's within the spec.
Yeah, it's a judgment call, but yeah, it's a hard one to answer, right? Because we tout the UL approval and that and all that good stuff, but
yeah,
it's that at that point, it's kind of the installer's decision to make.
And I think that with that tilt strap, that leans more toward possibly doing it. But if there are toddlers or giant dogs or something like that could possibly nudge that furniture, I would go against it.
I would strongly go against it. Children, animals, or just anything where it could be a potential issue. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. All right. Mark, thanks for your time today. I want to thank everyone for taking the time to join us. Just to share this piece of news. So since we recently had the merger with Electronic Lane, our IT department has been pretty busy with a lot of tasks on their list. So some of the archive links have not been posted. So for those of you waiting for the link last week from Yamaha or Klipsch in the last few weeks, please bear with us, and we thank you for your patience, and we will post them shortly. And as soon as we get caught up, I'm going to do a master. I'm going to compile these links on an email and send it out to the master database. So you'll get a list of all the links from the meetings we've hosted from the past, I'm going to say 90 days. So for those of you who are waiting for a specific link, keep an eye on your email inbox and we'll take care of it. Mark, thanks again for your time today, and thanks everyone for joining us.
Likewise, and Rick, I'll get the copy of the presentation out to you before the end of the day today.
Sounds good. Thanks, Mark.
Okay. Take care, everyone. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.